Hello, everyone. This is meteorologist Ted Keller. I wanted to do a video this afternoon now that the morning computer models are in, and I've got some time free here. A lot of outdoor work today. It turned into be a nice day. There's a 3-day event Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in which the Ozarks are included in some sort of severe weather risk. So it'd be helpful to not only go over that, but also to go over some chase possibilities. Where would the maximum area for tornado potential be over the next several days? Again, there's a little bit more confidence for Monday, 2 days away, a lot less for Tuesday and Wednesday, but nevertheless, you have to start somewhere with a forecast. So let's start with this. This is the 500 millibar flow, which I love to show because it's in the middle of the troposphere. It just because it kind of gives a blend between what might be going on below and might be going on above. So it's kind of you can just think of it as a jet stream, and these are wind speed areas here. So right away, you can see there's a lot of energy coming into the central plains and curving up around a low up here in South Dakota. So that right there, just putting this kind of wind field over unstable air is enough to talk about severe thunderstorms somewhere. They're going to happen. Okay, that's just a given. This time of year, what starts to happen is the cold fronts are not as strong and they don't drive the stable air in as deep. In other words, they don't drive those dew points down. Everything stays pretty much at state's length away, if even that. So if the next system comes along, that unstable air is immediately drawn back. And you start looking at severe weather events that happen back in March or even parts of April, certainly back in February. Sometimes those cold fronts go all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. They just kind of scour their way down like this, and it just dries everything out. And it's almost impossible to get quality humidity, which is really an ingredient of energy in the lower levels for storm development to get back. Or if it does get back, it doesn't get back fully or deeply. So I don't think any of that's going to be an issue with this because even the cool front that just moved through southwest Missouri here today with a little fresher air is not going to push that humid air all that far away. So anyway, so this is what the jet stream, I didn't even say. This is 7 p.m. on Monday night. So, and I'll show you what the forecast is for severe storms on Monday. And this expanded a little bit for the Ozarks. So Springfield is right here. And now we're in a marginal to slight risk of severe storms, which are the first basically 2 out of 5 levels. This one and this one, and you already notice an enhanced area from Nebraska southward into Oklahoma. So this is an area that I think will probably get a higher marking, maybe up to moderate tomorrow, possibly, because I do think there's a lot of unstable air combined with a strong jet stream and a dry line that kind of traces its way through there. Those are all pretty classic ingredients. What does that mean for two things? The Ozarks, well, we'll get what's left over from this. So this will probably congeal into kind of a squall line that'll enter the area like this. It'll probably die away for the next day. But as to the extent that that stays severe into the evening hours Monday, that will affect those areas in yellow there, which is from Springfield westward. For storm chasing, that's what we'll get into here in just a few more slides. But let me give you more of an overview. So this is the jet stream 24 hours later. This is Tuesday at 7 p.m. Notice we still have very strong flow. Interesting, little tiny short waves might be in here. Short waves are just little disturbances in the jet stream flow. Sometimes you can find them with kinks in the flow, or sometimes you can find them with these little speed max areas, or sometimes both, many times both. So this is what it looks like. So this is why, see, the jet stream hasn't driven a strong cold front through here. So this unstable air hasn't been pushed away all that far. So this would be valid. This would be a good way to look at storm development right around the time you would expect it late in the day on Tuesday. Here is the SPC's forecast for that. You can kind of see a strongly evidenced kind of dry push here. The dry line is kind of going into here, and an expansion of severe weather beginning in Missouri and heading into in these directions here. So for Springfield and much of the Ozarks, this is one of those develop overhead situations, and then they get stronger as they move east. So we're kind of in between storm systems. That's the way it looks now anyway. If you're going to storm chase this, I would try to go into Illinois. That way you've already crossed the river, and if it's still light when those are going on, then I think that would be prime for severe weather on Tuesday. So that's a plan. I've taken some time off to go do this, so probably, well, I'm not exactly sure. I won't show that till here in a minute. But now this is the 500 millibar map for Wednesday at 7 p.m. So again, pretty valid for a time right after the heat of the day when the storm development is expected to be very strong. Once again, you're looking at ample shear, which is really what this is, just wind shear that holds supercells together, and plenty of moisture. And then the SPC's forecast for that looks like this. So the Ozarks still very much in it. This is many days away, so I think a lot can change with this. Sometimes the jet stream forecast itself is not as accurate as it needs to be this many days out, and also what happens prior, boundaries of storms left behind. And I think that the front is not really being driven through very strongly. The thunderstorms may have a lot more to say about where boundaries are than the actual frontal system. That may not be as true on Wednesday, but certainly the 2 days before that. That would be a driving force as well. And as far as storm chasing here, if I had to shotgun that, I might go back to here, or even parts of eastern Arkansas are actually pretty flat and treeless, so that's not too bad. The only one I really talk about for storm chasing is the most available one, which is Monday. So let's look at this in greater detail. This is 500 millibars, but now we're looking at vorticity or spinning areas in the atmosphere, and this is another great way of looking for a shortwave. So there is definitely one right here. And this is at 21 Z's. This is 4 p.m. So if you're chasing out in this area here and this is coming in, that's a perfect triggering mechanism passing over the dry line for thunderstorm development. If you move ahead just 3 hours, the thunderstorms themselves are affecting the pattern, but there is still what we would call a shortwave moving through this area by 7 p.m. on Monday. So that's a real good setup for severe thunderstorms. So here is the instability. This is something called CAPE. I've used this on this channel before. When you start seeing the yellow colors, it's 3,000 to 4,000. The red is 4,000 or more. A lot of this is predicated on two things: that the dew points will get into the low 70s down here, maybe. Even if they don't, the yellow is fine. And then also that the air aloft is unstable, which contributes to this entire parameter, and that appears to be the case. One thing you can look at, it's kind of a cheap, but I look at it anyway. This is the significant tornado parameter. This is a way of kind of summing up all the best of the things you're looking for, the ingredients for significant tornadoes. It reaches a maximum right over and maybe just west of Topeka, Kansas here. This is again 7 p.m. on Monday. Okay, now the STP, as it's called, talks about tornado potential, but does not address storm mode. What I mean is this a line of thunderstorms, or are these discrete supercells? So the tornado threat's still there, but if you're a chaser, you kind of want the discrete ones. Not that the other line of storms is impossible to chase, it's just a little more challenging. So I took a sounding, which is just a vertical look at the atmosphere right where I circled right there, and you can see that. Now this, again, these fluctuate quite a bit, but PDS tornado is really significant. I need to change my color to white when I'm on here, but it's back down here in the corner. But look at that low-level shear right around that area. That is just perfect. Of course, the instability is off the charts. 3,000 CAPE. The updraft potential. There's very little cap. The SIN is like minus 18, and very good low-level shear. Very moist atmosphere. So this, if it were to come to play, would be a good example of where a chase probably should occur. Although I could make an argument for going all the way down the dry line to Oklahoma, and depending on how the shear lines up with the dry line itself, there may be opportunities down there too. The chase area is not as good. And you start getting in the geography and road networks and things like that. But from a meteorological standpoint, it may be just as good in parts of Oklahoma once we get a little bit closer to the event. So that'll kind of give you an idea what's going on there. I just want to show you a different model, the GFS for 4 o'clock on Monday. Same basic shortwave pattern right here. That's nice to see. So there's continuity among the two models. And then again, by 7 p.m., it's there. Again, it's being polluted by the actual thunderstorm development itself. But a very good continuity. Not as unstable. I think that's because of the two reasons I mentioned. First of all, the GFS is a little slower with the moisture, and also it's not as unstable aloft. So that's contributing to a lower CAPE. But still, with that kind of wind shear, 2,000 CAPEs, which is the green, we're gonna be okay with that. And I have a feeling these two will start to line up a lot more by the time the models come out tomorrow morning at this time. So that was a look at all the maps, and so that's kind of a review. Oh, I didn't talk about what I think will happen on Tuesday and Wednesday in the Ozarks. Hard to say because, again, that will be very much dependent on what the thunderstorms do the night before, what kind of boundaries they leave behind, especially going into Tuesday. I think that is a really good sort of like, where did the thunderstorms form last night? Where did they die? How did they orient themselves with the upper level flow? That's something to watch, definitely for us on Tuesday. Wednesday is so up in the air, it's probably not worth speculating about the Ozarks, except to say that, of course, the SPC did put us in a 30% area, no, 15% area for severe weather. So that's the update for today. I'll take a look at this pretty carefully and bring you another one tomorrow. Thanks for watching.